Two games to round out round 6 of the NBL. On Sunday, we have the Sydney Kings hosting the New Zealand Breakers, and we have Melbourne hosting Cairns. Now, before we get into anything, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment and give us your tips and what you think is going to happen in these games, and if you think we're right or we're wrong. Now, straight into it. New Zealand, the worst or the 9th worst scoring team in the NBL, coming up against Sydney, who will be severely disappointed with their loss in Perth. Travelled to Perth, going up against a Wildcats team without Cotton and even Ty Webster, the late out, and couldn't get the job done. Cooks had a massive game, Oliver had a massive game, but did find himself in a little bit of foul trouble, which actually swung the momentum of that one. So, no Jalen Adams. We're not sure if Jalen Adams is going to play in this one. But either way, Sydney do have the depth to get the job done, especially against a battered and bruised Breakers team. Now, the Breakers, it's well documented. Their schedule has been tough and it is taking its toll. Mawave King was out. Mitch McCarron was out. And even Max Darling, who was the hero against Perth when Cotton got injured, is also out. Or we're not quite sure if they're in, but they're definitely bruised and battered. Now, can Sydney overcome that loss and put the New Zealand Breakers to bed? I believe they can. The Breakers give up the most points to bench players of any team in the NBL, and Sydney just scored 56 points from their bench against Perth. They also average 33.6 bench points per game, which spells big trouble for the Breakers, in my opinion. So look for Sydney here to overcome their woes in Perth and put up a huge performance against the Breakers and cover the 5.5 points as the favourite at home. Game number 2, you've got Melbourne hosting Cairns. Now, the crazy thing is in this, Melbourne have actually lost to Cairns in 4 straight games dating back to the start of last season. So Cairns have that on their side, but we put Melbourne as a bit of the underdog against the Illawarra Hawks earlier in this week, and they showed what good coaching by Dean Vickerman can do and why they are the best defensive team in the NBL, averaging just 84 opposition points per game. Now, to match that, they also have the 3rd strongest offense, averaging 90.4 points per game. So the 10-point differential is very, very huge in this one. And then what is also in Melbourne's favour and will change this one is Cairns give up the most second chance points of any team in the NBL, and they're going up against Melbourne, who rank the best with 46.1 rebounds per game. So we saw what Jack White did against Illawarra, and he's going to have another night out here against Cairns. So there is the big game breaker there, and you'll just see Vickerman lock down the Cairns Stars and slow down Rob Edwards and annihilate any sort of attack that they do have. So here again, Melbourne, home favourite, gonna cover the 6.5 points in this one. They're your 2 tips for Sunday's games. Now, just remember, gamble responsibly and happy punting.